FilmFest 4-H has reached over 550 youth in 29 states during its 10 years, and it's been mostly face-to-face. This year, for the first time, it was digital. For young filmmakers, the FilmFest 4-H process begins as they register for FilmFest and submit their films. Now, it's really important to know, youth do not have to submit films to be able to come to FilmFest. They don't even have to be a 4-H member. All youth are welcome. All youth are encouraged to be a part of this. All films that are submitted get evaluated, and we've developed a rubric in which they evaluate these films in terms of audience appeal, cinematography, characterization, story, directing, etc. And that gives the youth some valuable feedback on the technical aspects of their work. Now, almost every single film submitted is accepted at FilmFest 4-H. We don't really publicize that necessarily, but it's true because we're really here to encourage youth as they pursue their sparks and build skills and get better and better. And this is an important part of that. Films are submitted in one of 5 categories. There's the narrative, which is the traditional story you might see in the theater, animation, it could be digital, it could be hand-drawn, and everything in between, documentary, Voices of 4-H History, which has been led by Tom Tate in the history preservation, and then the 1-minute movie. It is amazing how much story you can tell in 60 seconds. So let's get into youth-produced films. Rather than me telling you about it, let's just take a look. This is a highlight clip from FilmFest 4-H 2020. And I am excited to play this for you. It's about 2 minutes and 26 seconds long.
We had over 40 films that you guys submitted this year. How awesome is that?
We've brought in film industry professionals who do this stuff for a living, and they've included like series editors, movie producers, actors, stuntmen, animal wranglers, sometimes the animals themselves. Here we are 10 years later. This is the 10th FilmFest 4-H.
I needed to remember to be the best version of myself to get through this.
How have you been following me?
I'm the poltergeist.
If you're a documentary filmmaker, you have to kind of be a really good researcher, a really good editor, and know your legal stuff pretty well. And so it kind of incorporates that archival footage into their world.
And in the room, it's just a bunch of whiteboards, and it's just people sitting around trying to come up with stories.
As a school, we want to give them the tools that they need to meet those challenges in the new world.
They acted like it was a huge monster.
Wait a minute, you're definitely not Coulson.
No, but you are in my way.
I get a call from the casting director saying, we need you to come back. And literally it was one of those moments where I had to decide, okay, do I go on this fun thing that I had planned, or do I do my career? And I had to call the guy and say, sorry, I guess you're going to have to go to the office by yourself because I have this opportunity.
I tried everything on, like trying on a shirt until it fits, you know? I did college radio. I wrote movie reviews for the Man-Eater, the university school paper.
Please, do not cut down that tree!
Wake up! Wake up!
Come on, don't you have it in your lonely heart to help your poor helpless brother?
Chico reaches into a nearby paper sack.
Okay, I'll tell you something.
Chico starts throwing marshmallows at Groucho.
I attended FilmFest for several years, starting back in 2015, and the first session I actually went to was the alumni session for the 5th anniversary. So it's really special to be back here as an alum for the 10th anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shauna Scott put that reel together, and I think she did an amazing job of getting over 40 films condensed into one 2.5 minute session. So let's talk impacts. And one of the things we talk about with impacts are impact statements. And rather than me telling you about it, I would rather just have you hear from the alumni themselves.
I love the workshops. I love learning things. It's a nice environment. Everyone's so nice and friendly. Everyone's all open arms and they're just ready to hug you. It's like family, yeah.
FilmFest 4-H has been the most impressive and valuable 4-H experience that I have encountered in 22 years of being a 4-H advisor and 10 years of being a 4-H'er myself. All of the opportunities for the young people to interact about their projects and the emphasis on what they can do with it, it's empowering.
When teens get to FilmFest 4-H and they meet others who are just as excited about filmmaking as they are, something magical happens. And they start realizing they're not alone in this. And they understand that what they're doing is not only so important, but they have something unique to offer.
I'm Rachel, and I made the Get Off the Couch with 4-H video.
I'm Rachel, and I'm from Ohio. I came to the Film Fest in 2016, 2018, and 2019. And I'm going into my sophomore year as a music education major. In my years at the Film Fest, I got to meet tons of people from all over the country who shared my interest in filmmaking. I learned skills that I can use even in a non-film related career. And I still make videos as a hobby, and I love learning new techniques and trying new ideas for my videos. FilmFest has really given me that foundation.
My name is Savannah Loving, and I'm from Arkansas, and I've attended FilmFest for 2 years. I am currently a junior at the Clarksville High School and a founding member of the Clarksville High School livestream. FilmFest has helped me find another college choice, and it has also helped me make connections with professionals in the film industry and with other filmmakers.
Hey, we are the Raytons, and we are from North Dakota. I'm Caitlin. I'm Connie.
I'm Bethany. I am currently a graphic designer at a tarp company.
And I'm going to be a senior in high school.
Personally, I love the 4-H Film Fest because as a graphic designer, I deal with a lot of online, technical, creative, artsy kind of things. And this was a great outlet for me.
I'm really interested in writing. I've never really thought about working with TV, I've never thought, oh, maybe I can be a screenwriter or something, but after going to Film Fest, you got to see a lot of the different avenues and things that go along with filmmaking, whether it be movie or TV set, and a lot of it I just didn't really realize until I went to Film Fest.
I love Caitlin's wave goodbye at the end of that video. That's maybe my favorite part of the whole thing. Okay, let's talk impacts and let's talk data, because we know the data is what really tells our story sometimes. For the 2010 Film Fest 4-H, I did a retrospective pre-post test, asking at the end, now that they've learned what they've learned, what do they know and what did they know before they came in? So with the Actors Workshop with Lynera Washington, an actress you've seen on NCIS and several other places, one of the items was, I know about ways I can pursue a career as an actor. I know what it's like to live the life of a professional actor, and I know about different settings that actors might work in. Their options were not really, a little, or a lot, and then looking at medians, because this is non-parametric data, but the 5-point Likert type scale, you can see that before they knew a little bit in blue, but afterwards they felt like they knew a lot more. Archival footage workshop. This was a little bit unfair because nobody knew what archival footage was going in. The items were, I know how to find historical footage I can legally use. I know how to find collections for my research, and I understand how documentaries are made. Again, pretty good jump in knowledge before and after that workshop. In the producers workshop, this is a little bit higher starting point. We asked them how they knew they might get into a career as a producer. I can help others understand how films are made. I think I could produce a film about something I care greatly about. They had a pretty good set of knowledge coming in, but they all learned something along the way. In the Horizon workshop taught by FilmFest alum Emmy Beck Aiden out of Ohio, said, I have ideas for ways I can pursue my creative interests in high school or college. I know some ways to build my networks of people who can help me. I know about several career paths I might follow with my creative interests. And again, this is something they had researched quite a bit on their own coming into FilmFest because that's where a lot of their sparks revolved, but they all learned a lot along the way as well. In the screenwriters workshop, we asked, I feel comfortable writing a script for a movie or TV show. I know about how screenplays are formatted and organized. I know the process for how scripts are written for film and TV. again, quite a bit of growth and knowledge. So we moved to an online environment, and I wondered, it's something I thought should be happening for at least 2 or 3 years, but this is the first time we actually had to do it. And I had fears, I had concerns. What would happen? Would they be able to navigate the online environment? Would people be interested? Would they come? Are they zoomed out? Looking at registration at a glance from 2011 to 2020, look at the number of states who participated. We had more states than ever, with 17 states participating this last year. We needed no adults to register for this. We had only 2 years where more youth registered than they did this year when we moved to an online environment. We've had it in Branson, which was a huge draw. We had it in St. Louis. We've had it in Kansas City. We've had it in Columbia, where the University of Missouri is located. And we've had respectable figures given that people had to take the time and the expense to travel across the country. But when it's online for $30 instead of $99 to $129, we had a lot of youth participate from a lot of different places. We had our schedule as normal, but we shortened the schedule, the timing for the online environment. So, our timing for a workshop may have been 40 minutes. We would have optional social times like the noon lunch hangouts, where those who were zoomed out didn't have to participate, but those who wanted to could show up and be there and hang out. And we had a lot of participation in the lunch hangouts. Samantha Brandenberry did a online gaming activity where they got to use their smartphones and play along and do surveys and interactive type things. And we just had some really good discussion before we would jump back into the workshops. So that was encouraging to see. You didn't have to really reinvent the wheel to move online. You just had to make minor tweaks to allow for the intricacies of online learning. So what does positive youth development in an online delivery mode look like? I wanted to really try to capture this in a short, concise way. So what I did is I took data from Icles and Gutman and Cantilano et al. In Mary Arnold's 2018 article, Thriving Model for 4-H Youth Development. I synthesized those categories and came up with the following items for a survey. FilmFest 4-H is a place where I can become connected. FilmFest 4-H helped me feel more confident in my creative ideas. FilmFest 4-H is a place that supports good character, and some of that's seen in the strict rules about using copyrighted music, for example. The people at FilmFest 4-H care about me. At FilmFest 4-H, I learn things to help me better my skills, skill building. So what do you think? We asked them, is this true or is it not true? Are you neutral? Is it very true? Survey says almost all of them, median-wise at least, were 5 out of 5. Pre-test, post-tests are interesting because, I'm paraphrasing here and interpreting, if it revolves around your sparks, a lot of times a young person might come to an event really having done a lot of research, as we saw with the director's workshop, for example, and they're excited about what they know. And sometimes we don't know what we don't know when we're really excited about something. So with the traditional pre-test, post-test, sometimes you get inflated pre-test numbers. A retrospective pre-test, post-test model lets you reflect back after you have the knowledge on what you actually knew before. So many argue that it's actually more accurate, and it's certainly more economical because you're doing it once instead of before and after. I wondered as I looked at this result on the second item, FilmFest 4-H helped me feel more confident in my creative ideas. Is this a situation where they now know what they didn't know before? Or maybe we just didn't do as well in that category as we did with the others. But I thought that was a really interesting bit of data there. So thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for clicking on this seminar. I hope that you enjoyed the information, and I hope that you can be supported in all the filmmaking and storytelling adventures that you create for youth. Please let me know how I can help you. I'm glad to support your efforts and cheer you on. So thank you for everything you're doing. I'll look forward to meeting you in person one of these days, and have a great conference ahead.